I just got back from a construction walkthrough at a new build community, and the superintendent asked me if I had been trained by Cy Porter. I said, no, who's that? And I said, no, I don't know who that is. I've been trained by the ROC Workmanship Standards. This is what has trained me. Damn well knowing I know exactly who Cy Porter is. I've watched all his videos. I've learned so much from Cy. But this superintendent was so pissed that I was pointing out things and he was trying to, brush it under the rug and not have to fix those items. He was pissed when I was pointing them out and explaining exactly where within the workmanship standards it states that they are required to fix it. Typically with new build homes, my experience is a positive one. The superintendents are usually patient, they're kind. I've actually had good experiences with new build homes. Even though every home has something that needs to be fixed, most of the time the superintendents are more than happy to fix them for the buyer. However, today that was not the case. The superintendent was a full-on asshole. I had a feeling from the very beginning of this walk that they were going to give pushback. And there's actually two superintendents. I don't know why they needed to be two. There were two of them. And it almost looked and felt like they were kind of there to bounce off of each other to, convince my buyer that some of these issues were not a problem. At the beginning of the walk, pretty much in so many words, told me to keep my mouth shut and said, this walk is for the buyer, not for you. But you know what? The reason why my buyers hire me is because I have experience doing this. I do a lot of new build homes, so I know exactly what to look for and what to call out and what to hold these builders accountable for. That's why my buyers choose to hire me to represent them. And the superintendent, he said, it's not for you. You don't say anything. You just stand there. And if the buyer has concerns with it, then we'll fix it. I called out everything that I saw and looked at my buyer and let them make the decision if it bothered them or not. And most of the time it did. Every single new build home will have stuff that needs to be addressed during that construction walkthrough. I have never seen one that is 100% ready to close on the date of that construction walkthrough. Totally normal to have things pop up. But it is how the superintendent addresses the concerns of the buyer. That is what's important here. And this is the thing that the superintendents do that pissed me off. They say, that's normal. That's within tolerance. We see that all the time. That's not a big deal. That's just cosmetic and we're allowed to do that. But the Registrar of Contractors, the ROC Workmanship Standards book, this outlines what any contractor in the state of Arizona is required to do. It's very specific. And one specific thing that we are kind of going back and forth with are stucco cracks. Every single new build has stucco cracks. And in my experience, if they're very minor stucco cracks, I wouldn't want to ask them to fix those now because I know that home over the next year or so is going to continue to shift and settle and there's going to be even more cracks. So in my experience, if they're really fine cracks, really small cracks, I would rather wait until your 1-year warranty is up to call those out and get all of those fixed. Here's my little trick. I usually take a dime, a little coin, and keep it in my purse specifically for these construction walkthroughs. And if the crack is thicker than the size of a dime, if I could fit a dime in that crack, then we'll ask the builder to fix those now. This builder says that they're not going to fix any cracks if they are smaller than 1/8 of an inch. However, the ROC Workmanship Standards states that the tolerance is 1/16 of an inch, literally half the size of what the builder is saying was tolerance. Another thing that they were pushing back was on the shower surround. It's a 4-piece shower surround. So you've got the bathtub, the back of the shower, and then the 2 sides of the shower. The very top had 2 holes on them, and there should be holes on the bottom to be able to let any condensation or moisture that gets behind there should be holes to let those out, but I don't think there should be holes at the top. And when I asked about that, he says, oh yes, the manufacturer requires those holes to be left there, and so there should be a hole there. We're not going to caulk it, we're not going to seal it or fix it. So I asked, why is this one caulked already and this one is not? So which one is it? And when I ask them who the manufacturer is, so I can confirm how it's supposed to be directly from the manufacturer, they said they don't know. They don't know who the manufacturer is. How the hell do you know what the manufacturer expectations are if you don't know who the manufacturer is? This is super deep into the weeds. I understand that. But my point here is don't trust what the builder is saying or what the superintendent is saying. Be prepared with the ROC Workmanship Standards. Print off a copy and bring it with you so you can kind of push back and let them know that, hey, you understand what the standards, what the tolerances are, so they're not going to be able to pull one over on you. Because during those walkthroughs, it could be really overwhelming. You're looking at a lot of things and you're there for a few hours. And they, I'm sure, just want you to get in and get out and move on with your day, but it's better to be prepared.